Let's get into it. We're gonna be casting on a Saturday? It's a Sunday? the quarantine has gone on so long that I've lost track of the dates. And when you throw in a statutory holiday, my mind just goes, this is the second day in a row where I don't have to work, so clearly it's Sunday. But no, it's Saturday. That's a refreshing feeling. So I guess it's a good old Saturday afternoon cast. I'm sure all 10 players will be absolute gentlemen going into this. There will be no flaming, no quitting. They're just going to play a nice, even game. They're going to all give it their all. And we're going to have a good old time together. And at the end of the game, everybody will just shake hands, say GG, well played. I learned a lot. And it's made me a better person and a better player. And now what I said will ever happen. Also, for some reason, by the way, the shopkeeper still sells monopods. That's not correct. And apparently a codex, some boots of speed. That's a longsword. That's not Rylai's. Rylai's is shinier than that. But that's Infinity Edge. Oh. Cracking his back, turning around. Like, hey, what's up? And then everybody's coming here to buy stuff from him. What else is he selling here? That's not Blade of the Rune King, is it? No, that's definitely not it. Speaking of gentlemanly, one of them has already decided to not play the game. What do we have here? Yeah, some staves on top. That's another IE right there. That's Rylai's, right? That's a bit shinier to be right. He has 2 IEs and a barrel full of mana potions. Those will never sell. Zayar's Hourglass is pretty expensive. Will of the Ancients. Oh my goodness. Why is he keeping stuff that doesn't exist anymore? That's not good for business when you're displaying things that you don't even sell anymore. Well, we'll review the matchups here. If the Senna ever decides to come back to the game. Gangplank top against the Fiora. Silas jungle against Graves. Rumble against LeBlanc mid. Senna Nautilus against Varus Tahm Kench. The standard matchup you expect here would actually be Senna TK, just because that's the standard duel. But I'm assuming that Senna TK is not available for red team because it was broken up by a Senna first pick, perhaps. We're going to have actually a red buff start for both teams. So, red team going to opt to start at red. So Fiora is gonna commit to a leash, probably be a little bit late to lane. 10 seconds worth of leash. She's just missing a minion for sure. But here comes the camp in the brush. Varus gets set on fire, but they're trading blows immediately against the Senna. Senna gets licked up, and she will die to the Tahm Kench for first blood. Meanwhile, top lane, Fiora does make it back. 3 CS to 3. She doesn't actually miss a creep. Worthwhile plays, I guess. First blood to red team. The tri-brush cheese works every time. And Senna has just been sent back home. Delayed significantly. It is a fasting Senna build. She's not the one farming these waves, but she does critically need to be in lane to exert pressure, shoot people, and actually get gold with Spectral Sickle. Now, blue team has a pretty healthy wave here. If only they can farm it. Nautilus is the one that should be taking these. Senna guns down the first minion. That's going to turn on Spectral Sickle. And now Nautilus begins to farm proper. Varus is going to hail of arrows down. And Fiora top lane. Still trading against a Gangplank, but not winning these trades so far. LeBlanc gonna also proc electrocute on the Rumble. Aside from the tri-brush cheese, this game is currently unfolding to be pretty even now. Varus is still sitting on such a monumental lead. 16 CS to Nautilus' 6. The Silas jungle is gonna come around. He might try for something here, but Graves, he's completed his half the jungle, so now he's walking towards Scuttlecrab, but the Silas mirroring his movements on the other side of the map. The Nautilus is walking up. This is a very given away gank, and then Varus just gets swallowed up by the Tahm Kench, spat out. Now he just has to try to get out. The Tahm Kench is being damaged. He will have to blow his flash to get out. The gank EO summoner spells for blue team, but not a kill. in their favor. Now Graves pumping shots into the Gangplank. Gangplank will eat an orange and BK, and Graves just has to turn around and leave. He did blow the flash from that gank, so that's a positive play there. So summoner trades on both sides of the map. I say that red team probably got a better deal out of it overall. And here comes the Sylas gank. LeBlanc has to try to flash away. Her clone's just standing still, watching the wall, and then times out. Now LeBlanc has to try to walk her way up. She needs to make it to the Scuttle Zone. She does make it to the speed buff. Fiora is trying to zone off, so Gangplank cannot come in and assist. But the Sylas is not giving up. He still continues to chase. The abduct from long range does land it. Last minute, desperate ignite onto the GP. Not the best way to use your ignite. And LeBlanc just dies to Sylas. A very persistent player, the Sylas. Not giving up on the quarry and eventually finally finding it. And now Senna going to flex her range muscles, dealing some damage onto red team. And now we have red team farming creeps at a very optimal zone. Not under tower, but also very deep. So blue team cannot reasonably extend. Graves is resetting. He's now moving to clear his half of the jungle. Fiora gets a solo kill up top with the tower dive, but here comes the Sylas to even the score. She tanks a tower shot, and now she has to try to flash away. Here comes the Abscond Abduct that does not land, but she didn't kill the Blast Cone. Standing there trying to repulse will result in her death. She could have made it out if she just popped the plant. I realized the plant respawned under her while she was repulsing, but I diagnosed her as unlucky. Bot lane Varus. He's quite low now thanks to all the Senna damage, so now he actually has to sit back and farm it out. LeBlanc going for another aggressive trade against Rumble. The chain does connect and latches him in place. Now Varus being gunned down by the Senna from long range. Guardian Shield trying to protect him, but he's falling so incredibly low that he no longer can withstand a freezing position in his lane, so now he's resorted to farming under tower instead. He needs his first items to come through because he's going Blade of the Ruined King pretty fast. He's holding on to this cookie, but here comes the frog. He's gonna get tied up here. Hail of Arrows will try to buy him some time, but now the frog really has to try to walk away. The Ignite's taking on him. He does get gunned down by the Senna, and the Varus now has to turn around. He's out of mana, but here comes the Graves to even the score. Senna puts up the fog and walks away. GPL gets called down as well. There's so much damage. Graves has to try to run as well. Varus is still trying to run, but he's an anchor to the head and gets dropped by the Nautilus. The jungler finds absolutely nothing. LeBlanc coming in to assist, but she's not going to find anything here. Sylas drops her damage combo down. She's going to double the storm and get out of there, but the Nautilus wants blood. He flashes in after her equalizer from long range, finds the kill, and this might be a die, but Spider-Knot connects onto a wall, and he's been blinded. No more tower shots onto him, but he's in a very compromising position. Fiora up top going against the Gangplank one-on-one, and the Nautilus, he might have nowhere to run. One more auto will do it, but he rounds a corner and goes out of sight. Rumble flashes in to secure it. 4-0 essentially. They don't kill a single person, and the trickling in of red team marching to their death, just handing kill after kill over to blue team. A beautiful start here by blue team. The game will settle back down, but it settles into the ruins of red team as they find their situation both economically and positionally in ruins. Fiora riposting, but the shot was not going to her. Gameplank's just gonna prep a few barrels. He's gonna farm a few creeps. It's a very satisfying pop every time. Now red team has the unenviable task of finding a way to come back from that disaster. Can they do it here? Perfectly timed stopwatch has arm for the Nautilus just 8 minutes in. He finished his first item, which is actually a boost of swiftness. Very surprising purchase here. Not Moby's. Swiftness is generally inferior to mobility boosts unless the enemy team is packing a lot of slows. And in this case, they are not packing a lot of slows. Slows are pretty universal in every kit, and red team does have some on almost everybody, but not enough. Varus is gonna get spat out into Dawning Shadow, get gunned down by Senna. Now the Frog just has to wait his way out. 8-2 so far. It's gonna be 9-2 really soon. Nautilus finds it again. Aside from that first blood and that one extra kill they got, I don't even remember who got that kill. Alright, the Fiora solo kill. Aside from that Tri-Burst Cheese and the Fiora solo kill, Red Team hasn't found anything this game so far. They've lost dragons, they've lost kills, they've lost plates. And really, this is not looking great here in the early game. So now to raise your mental, people will eventually just say, hey guys, we scale, which is more often than not just a blatant lie, because usually you say we scale and then your team is just like Pantheon and your top lane is like Pantheon fighting a Jax and like, oh, don't worry guys, we scale. But do Red Team actually scale? The game's continuing. Rumble is actually pretty even in CS, but he's got those kills to back him up financially. LeBlanc really has nothing. She's sitting on double Amp Tome, so that's not a very good situation for her when you don't even have Lost Chapter done at 10 minutes into the game. Lost Chapter is also one of those early game items where you might buy it and you don't even intend to complete it. Like, it's perfectly acceptable to buy a Lost Chapter and then sell it later on, if you're not going to commit to a Ludens or a GLP. But here comes more trouble. Varus is going to get swallowed up. Chains of Corruption buy some time from the Nautilus, but not enough. Depth Charge comes here, and Cannon Barrage also slowing down the Varus. The dive is coming in full force. Nautilus running in, pops a stopwatch in place. The Varus is sitting under the tower with nowhere to go. Senna doesn't die, but Nautilus walks up a little bit too far, tanks another minion. The minions are hitting him, but they're not going to do enough damage. Both bot laners from blue team make it out with a scrap of their health left. Perfect execution there. Nautilus tanking just the right amount of tower shots and resetting the aggro with the stopwatch, keeping himself safe. Umbral Glaive is complete on Senna, I believe. Now she's scouting around for wards. There's a ward in that brush. She's just walking past it. Now she finally sees it, but the Glaive times out. No kill on the ward. 11-3 now, but to make things worse, Herald has been taken. Graves does pick up a kill in the interim. Herald does go the way of Red Team. That's at least something positive for them. But I'll be honest, this game is looking quite pear-shaped. Although given this massive kill lead, the gold lead is less than 2,000 between the two teams, and it's been made up of some solid laning power from from Red Team here. But laning power only ever carries you so far when your team is just losing skirmishes left and right. They really need to think of something to try to pull it together here, because this game is not lost. You might not even need to wait for the late game scaling. This game is not lost. Execution can bring you back from the brink in situations like this. It's all up to the mental. League is a mental game. It's not about mechanics. It's not about... Oh wait, hold that thought. Perfect eat. Dodging out the dredge line, but here comes the Varus. He needs to try to run away from the Silas. Silas always wants more. Abyssal Voyage is stolen. He might be able to use it to chase down a few kills, but to what end? Depth Charge does get committed onto the Equalizer. So much damage. Graves has to make it out. Abduct does not land, but the Frog will die. LeBlanc just now wandering into the fight, gets caught out immediately and has to run. The Abyssal Voyage is stolen. Silas is ferrying in the Senna. The LeBlanc has to try to run away. There's 4 members of blue team in between towers. There's no minions. They have to be careful here. This is a very haywire dive. Senna flashes and gets killed by the turret anyway. GP will teleport back up to top lane. LeBlanc just makes it out, but it's like the story repeats itself. She's running top lane yet again, hoping for an assist. Unlike last time, she will actually make it out this time and change her fate. But that's 2 more kills going the way of blue team. The 1 kill they got didn't even count, but here comes the Silas getting a little bit too greedy for his boots. Varus finds him and kills him off, finishing the Yomu's Ghostblade for himself. Red Team secures their Drake Finally finding an objective on the map, and now the kill train is coming down. Smokescreen slows down the Nautilus. He has to try to run away. He will be disengaged just fine. Gangplank top taking a ton of damage from the Fiora. Fiora's attempting a soft dive, and now she baits out Cannon Barrage. Gangplank will not have it anymore. Fiora just content to farm it from here. She does have Roundness Hydra. Graves is going to deploy Herald in the face of a Flamethrower. Very brave of him. But this is a full house tower, so it's going to be a very low value Herald. But here comes the LeBlanc. She doesn't stay long enough for the chain to do a pop damage, but the Graves end of the line finds a Rumble regardless. Fiora solo kills the GP in the top lane. Red team pulling it back, finding some individual kills and finding a dragon, finding some plates critically as well, supplementing their income. Now they're the one with the gold lead. And Graves is gonna ride that momentum and take away the blue buff. So very scattered fight all around. Varus died, respawned, and made a really positive play on the Dragon Pit. Silas got really greedy and essentially threw all of the lead by himself. It started with stealing Abyssal Voyage and trying for a dive in between two towers with no minions, and then trying to solo Drake as a Silas. None of those are particularly smart plays. A little bit bullheaded, I think the word is. And it has cost his team dearly. But now the question remains, what can red team do to solidify the momentum that's now in their favor? Because they still have losing lanes, except top. Rumble is still in a position to kind of evenly match LeBlanc, and bot lane is still under so much pressure all the time. They may have found a victory in a skirmish and they may have the lead now, but they need to find a way to hold on to it. Herald is not going to be in the cars. The next Herald is going to be 90 seconds away. Silas is posturing near mid. He wants the ward and LeBlanc says no. LeBlanc actually protects that ward with her life, scaring off the Silas. So now Silas's position is now known. Well, it has always been known since he stood on the word, but everybody on the map knows where this Silas is. Except the Silas himself, because he's just wandering in the river doing nothing. Graves is going to come down and try for a gank. Chains of Corruption will start it off. Smokescreen gets popped. Nautilus blind hooks away, attaches to a wall and gets out of there. He gets healed up and walks away. Cannon Barrage going to lay down the slows. Here comes the Silas to turn the gank. Graves is the first victim, and now Varus has to run. Depth charge has been committed already, so there's no lower lockdown possible. Varus just keeps running. He's doling out arrows in the back. Fiora channels in the TP at the same time. Varus hastily engages in, dies to the Tom Kench. Senna is going to be the next victim. Double kill here. LeBlanc makes a rotation, shutting down the Silas. Rumble a mile behind her, not here in time. So this is all going to be red team over and over. Finding yet another skirmish victory, turning around their disastrous early game. And now it's blue team being put on a hot seat. What can they do to stop the bleeding? Because believe me, the bleeding has just begun. And now we have another reset coming out from red team. Red team, Varus backs, finishes his boost, picks up Serrated Dirk as well. He's going to full on lethality route for Varus. His arrows are gonna hurt a ton against blue team. Nobody on blue team except for the Nautilus really itemizes heavily into armor. So Varus arrows can just do a ton of damage against these squishy carries. Even the Rumble really can't sustain against arrow poke, against full lethality, because Rumble usually builds pretty offensive items anyway. Now the Fiora trying to chase down a GP. He has nowhere to run. His only hope is to get executed. But can he run away enough from Fiora? One more lunge. He's not going to find it. Gangplank, one more shot will kill him. It does kill him off. Execution to the Gangplank. But that's already bought red team some time and space for Graves to grab the Herald, because the top laner was just running in like a lemming. Which, for the record, don't actually group suicide. That's a myth perpetuated by Disney. There's no such thing as a lemming mass suicide. Chains of Corruption finds onto the Senna. Senna has to try to get out. She puts the shroud down, but it's not enough. Collateral damage finds it from long range. Silas is trying to farm his chickens, but the KFC gets raided by the shotgun man, and he's gonna drive back the chains. The chain man. Silas. Prison chain man. Whatever I call him. Tier 2's tower is gonna be under siege. Now Cannon Barrage will finish off all the minions. So red team has to back off for now, but another mini wave is crashing in decently soon. They're gonna clear out this wave. They're not letting go of this chokehold. They're gonna rotate towards the dragon just to find more and more advantages. Can they do anything here? Blue team, they're not gonna contest this. It seems like they're trying to push back the mid lane, but now LeBlanc gets turned on by the Sylas. She's gonna flash forward, chainsaw lash, the pop kills off the Sylas, and she's gonna draw 3 members of blue team away to fight her. That's gonna give red team all the space in the world to kill this Cloud Drake. They don't even get the LeBlanc, and here comes the Fiora 1v2. She does repost away a CC, so Nautilus gets stunned up. Grand challenge goes down on him, but the repost no longer there. She gets swallowed up by the Tom Kench, but she's on fire. She has to try to lunge away to save herself. She does get out in the nick of time. Senna puts up her shroud to allow her teammates to escape. But blue team has been beaten and bruised. 1v3 against the Fiora, and they cannot kill her. That is one demoralizing series of outcomes. To not be able to kill a Fiora that's going ham into your backline, eats a depth charge, and somehow still lives. MVP shout out to the Tom Kench for saving the Fiora there. Now the kill score is 14-11, and if you recall just a few minutes ago, this was 11-3. So boy, how the turntables. Blue team still has a momentary kill lead, but that's really the only lead they have left in this game. And that looks to evaporate pretty soon as these skirmishes are just not going their way anymore. Sylas, he's already also went for a more greedy build, going for the Nashor's Tooth second. It's amazing when you're ahead. Questionably amazing on Sylas, but I guess like it's still usable. But when you're behind, you don't build Nashor's Tooth. It leaves you so squishy. You don't build it unless you can actually justify doing that much damage and being able to actually push your advantage for long enough to make the Nashors worth it. He's already committed to a far greedier build thinking he's ahead, but I think the game has shifted to a point where that's just not true anymore. And here comes the red team engage. Goon Squad onto the side. He just takes so much damage. The Chains of Corruption eats him alive. The big one cannon drops on Varus, but as if nothing hit him. He just feels nothing, and Sylas gonna drop to getting caught out in mid lane, and now Senna has to be careful as well. Graves does so much damage that Burn will kill her off. Graves finds his 4th kill in this game onto the Senna, and without really doing much, blue team has lost all of their cores seemingly. Fiora gets gunned down by the GP, a very poorly timed riposte results in her death, but the Graves is here for some revenge. He's twirling out the shotgun. He's saying to Gangplank, remember that one time in lore where you tried to drown me? And Gangplank says, yeah, I remember, and now both men will just stare angrily at each other because there's a turret in the way. Gangplank will try to farm some minions. Oh, but he doesn't kill off the mini wave in time, so the shotgun man walks into his face and kills him off. Meanwhile, all this time, red team is sieging mid tier 2. Graves dashes back into Daunting Shadow, and that's going to give a shutdown over to the Sylas. A positional mistake there, costing himself dearly. But mid lane tier 2 has already fallen. Red team's job is done. And now it's up to them to just do a reset and not get caught out. But screw resets, Fiora says. She's coming in for a teleport. But Varus is also on his way out, so now he gets called back into the service like a disgruntled veteran. Rombo is gonna make his way around the corner. They don't see the Fiora. They spot her now. Dredge line gets countered, and he gets stunned up in return. There's no grand challenge, but this is a very dead Nautilus regardless. The Frog gets rooted up. Baron Nashor gets pinged out by the Graves, but I think it's a pretty long walk here for red team. They're all sieging bot lane. No one has time for Baron Nashor. They're gonna land some more poke, land some more siege. They wanna do some damage to this tower. Doesn't seem like they can get it, but they're sure as hell gonna try, and they do get it because Fiora with Triforce just hurts so much. The game will now settle into a place where red team, they're fully feeling it now. They're ahead. They can do whatever they want and still not be punished by it. LeBlanc's going to try to shove out top lane. Sylas is being sent on the run. Rumble will join him, but Blue team's just wandering around aimlessly because there's not really any income for them to grab anymore. All these mini waves are not in their favor and they can't really venture out that far. Rumble is very close to an enemy Graves, with Graves just farming blue team's jungle as if it was on backyard garden or something. He's moved on to the wolves as well, but he gets scanned out. Silas dashes over the wall and then back in, trading places, but he will die very soon afterwards. Senna's gonna try to find a kill, but Graves flashes into her face and pumps it in. And now he has to try to run away. He's tanking a tower shot. He's tanking another one. He tries a lifesteal, but it's not enough. Nautilus finds it, getting a shutdown onto the Graves. And now a 3-man siege is coming down mid, but they might have a tall task ahead of them. With no jungler, they cannot safely Baron. But without a wave, they can't safely push. They're just going to turn around for Dragon, but never mind, Fiora's already on it. Nautilus Spider-Naut misses his own tower, and that really sums up his game so far. The kill score is now perfectly even. 2 Cloud Drakes, 1 more will actually make their ultimate cooldown 30% above the cap. Let's check the Chain of Corruption cooldown, 50 seconds. Oof. That's just rank 2. Nautilus, Spider-Naut going in full force. Cannon Barrage pops down the Wire Shield, Downing Shadow. Varus will try to flash away to get away from the CC. He will escape, but he uses his flash to run away. Losing his Edge of Night Shields means that Nautilus can very easily engage on him with Stretch Line or Depth Charge, so he has to flash away there to try to avoid getting caught. And now it's blue team making a move towards Baron. Are they desperate enough to actually start this? Gangplank is still bottom lane. He's committed Cannon Barrage. He no longer has it. It's red team's turn. They're the ones moving in and securing vision now. And this one last pink ward in the pit. Once it gets killed off, blue team lights goes right out. But they do replenish 1 pink ward on the banana bush. LeBlanc kills it off. Now they're totally dark. They're walking into perhaps their doom and not even know it. Nautilus' work gets shut out instantly. Graves will kill it off. They're trying to secure some vision, but red team's just not letting them. Winning this Baron dance, and they can't safely walk in, but here comes the Graves. He's going ham. He wants more. He's killing off one immediately, but Guardian Angel gets popped up. He gets eaten by Tom Kench, so he's actually saved. Guardian Angel is still active, and now Nautilus running face first into a very angry Fiora. Fiora is gonna try to kill him off. One more hit will do it, but he flashes away from the lunge, so he doesn't actually die. Grand Challenge Healing Zone does get popped over the wall. That's gonna be a 3 for nothing. And they're gonna turn for Baron, or are they gonna try to push? They found a prime opportunity. They drew blue team out of their own base and applied the killing blow. But it's now up to them to see what to make of it. Surrender vote has failed for blue team. I wonder which 2 people refuse to surrender, because let's be honest, this game's over. Blue team is just gonna lose turret and they're gonna lose Baron. Varus is not the fastest Baron killer, but he'll do. The Cannon Barrage is gonna try to buy a little bit of time, but it's not enough to dissuade red team from killing off the giant snake. Seems like they will get it here. If not, a little bit hairy for the Varus, but everyone else will be just fine. Making it out for a full recall. Fiora shoves out 1 more wave. She'll be out of there as well. No way for blue team to punish. Now what do they do? Duskblade gets finally picked up by the Senna, but it's 27 minutes in. She should have had that like 10 minutes ago. It's such a late item build for Senna. She's not effective anymore in this game, just because the rest of red team is miles ahead of her. Nautilus pops a blast cone. He's gonna go over. They're gonna try to pincer Fiora. Fiora finds herself in the 1v3, but the reinforcements are coming immediately. GLP out from the LeBlanc, locking up the Rumble temporarily. And now Fiora turns it around. Here comes 2 teleports. Well, Abyssal Voyage, which counts as 2 teleports. 2 people join the fight. 3 for nothing. A beautiful collapse by red team. And blue team tries for a 1 last fight onto the Fiora, thinking they caught her out, but in reality is anything but. LeBlanc sends her clone in to tank a little bit, just for the loss. Pure is sitting in blue team's base, killing off blue team's own people in their own homes. My god, that is illegal. The death machine for red team is riding in. Long range collateral damage snipes out the gangplank because he could not do the same back to the LeBlanc. Senna will come back up and heal the Silas, but it might be way too little, way too late. Silas tries to get another kill, but he'll be dropped by the Graves instead. Senna puts up her shot and walks away. Chains of Corruption finds her on her own fountain. One more arrow does not actually kill her off, but it comes very close to it. Rumble leaves the game. Ho's mad. LMFAO XD appears to be the most mauling person here. Red team gonna farm from KDA, BM a little bit on the fountain, and that's gonna be the game. 28 minutes in, almost 29. A brilliant turnaround here from the early game.